Recording from Sandy, Utah, you're listening to Idiot to Genius. Hello, my name's Steph Schull.
And I'm Utah Todd with the Sure Group at eXp Realty. Each episode focuses on individuals that found themselves desiring more. If you're feeling like an idiot, join the club. Today on Idiot to Genius, I've got Philly Rodriguez. She serves Naples and all of Southwest Florida, and her brand is simple: calm advocacy, honest guidance, and strategic execution when it counts. She's helped families relocate and sell with a steady hand, and she brings a real world background in high pressure work that shows up on how she negotiates and protects her clients. Let's go. Philly, you came from the nursing world, which what aspect of nursing were you involved with?
The emergency room.
That's what I thought. And whoa, how many years were you in the nursing, working in the emergency room?
20 years.
Holy smokes. So seriously, comparing working in nursing in the emergency room to what you're doing now, is now kind of a relief, or what's the difference between the two?
That's a good question. ER was like the monster I knew. You know, people came to me already having a problem. I didn't have to go look for their problem, right? Like, they came to the emergency room, I would triage them, and they already had a complaint. So in the sense of, it's sort of similar, but sales, the part that's a little bit foreign for the emergency room is they came to me, now I have to go find and give them value. So it's a little bit different in the sense of having to do that. But
I had never thought about that, because they're coming to you, their need is already identified, is what you're saying. It's done. You know, they're
yeah,
bleeding out there, or whatever. They got it.
correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah. So like as like real estate, they're coming to me as a hot lead, and it could be, I mean, their emergency. So it could be, my blood pressure is high or I have a headache. In their mind, that's their emergency. So in the real estate world, that would be a hot lead. Like, they're already coming to me, they're ready. But in the sales sense, where it was different for me and having to identify the difference with this, because real estate, it is a people business, but we're trying to sell our service. Um, I, having them already come hot, or in the sense of me having to trying to find their problem, is a different in that way.
In the ER, I mean, seconds matter. In
Yes.
real estate, timing still matters, just differently. What did nursing teach you about decision making, maybe a sense of urgency, that many agents never learn?
Well, the good news is, with the emergency room, I can handle lots of chaos, and every transaction has a chaos. There's always a plan, there's always a strategy. Where in the ER, if you made a wrong move, someone could actually die. In real estate, it's a big, big transaction, right? Financially, that's a big deal. So I can handle high stakes, we can say, very calmly, come up with a strategy. Problem solving is kind of like in my wheelhouse. So that's how they compare in that way.
Right. Oh, absolutely. And it's so funny you bring up calmly, because I went and looked through some of your 5-star reviews and so forth, and your clients, they talk about your calm advocacy.
Yeah.
What does that look like in real life when a deal is melting down at the worst possible moment? What is it? What is your secret sauce, I guess you could say, to staying calm? Is it just the experience of being in the emergency room, that kind of thing? Or what separates you from the other people that kind of freak out on it all?
It's my ability to step back and not get excited. If I was running a code, or someone came in, so they bought someone who was completely unconscious, I have to stay calm to be able to think it through and know the processes. So it's the ability to stay calm and not activate my nervous system. And that's how I'm able to do that. I step back, listen, all right, and then first I get them, the client, okay, and then ask some questions, and then come up with a plan, and I take the brunt of it all, and we strategize. I tell them what we're going to do, setting the expectation, and just execute it.
I mean, it makes so much sense. As you lay it out, it makes total sense. I get it. Can you give me some examples? Is there some maybe negotiating examples where behind the scenes of a negotiation where staying calm was the entire advantage? What did you do that actually changed the outcome? Is there one or two that stand out to you, or not really?
Sure. I mean, so people are selling or buying because they're making big decisions in their life. Some people are getting divorced, separating, some people are coming together, some people are celebrating milestones. I had a deal where two people were getting divorced and I had the buyer. At one point in time, it took at least 2 weeks of negotiations because they were getting divorced. One person was agreeing to the price and then the other one was not. I was grateful to be working with a very experienced agent as well. But in that situation, it was just keeping the buyer in check with their emotions. And also when I'm communicating with the other agent, staying professional and not relaying the anxiety that the buyer is having. Of course, the buyer wants to have the negotiation settled quickly, but it's just providing that communication and staying calm and communicating with the other agent and just keeping everyone in the game.
Right, right. Really,
Were you looking for something juicier?
no, no. Do you have something juicier?
My most recent deal, maybe it wasn't fully the negotiation, but the agent had lost the relationship with the seller. But these buyers, they were flying down from Iowa and they really wanted to see this house. It was their top 3. I couldn't get the agent to schedule a showing for the life of me because they lost confidence in this agent. And so they wouldn't approve the showing. And so I told the buyers, listen, let's just go drive by. We'll check out the curb appeal. And that way you can feel confident of excluding it off your list if we can't see it, or we can figure something out. So we drove by and they ended up loving the curb appeal. So I ended up knocking on the door and
Sweet.
yeah, knocked on the door and basically said, hey, I know that you did not approve this showing. These are my buyers. They're real people. So we weren't making it up that they were coming for the showing. Would you be opposed to just letting us maybe see the backyard, see the pool area? Because then I wasn't going inside of their home. And they said, well, yeah, you could see the back. And then I said, okay, that's fine. Would you be completely opposed to maybe showing us the inside? I mean, we can wait. We can give you 2 hours, give you some whatever time you need to prepare the home. And we gave them an hour. We went to a bar, watched a football game, came back, wrote an offer. They loved the house. We wrote an offer. I was able to kind of gauge what's important to them. And writing this offer, let's just talk about the bananas. The bananas, I was ready to eat all of the bananas. And if you follow my drift, Todd, are you following my
Yes.
drift? Yeah. Okay. So when it came time to the bananas, we're starting to
So
set some.
in other words, you were ready to give everything up to get this done or whatever.
Right. Well, I knew what they needed. We negotiated. We gave them an offer that they could not refuse. We put the terms that they wanted. They had a boat. They needed to find a rental. So we gave them all that up front before. But when it came down to the agent, we needed to negotiate a few things. And because a large part of this sale came from me knocking on the door, I negotiated all of the bananas that I could on my plate.
Excellent, excellent. I love the path you went through to be able to pull that off for your clients. That's just incredible, incredible. So how long have you been in the real estate world now, as far as being an agent?
I got licensed in 2021 and I stayed doing nursing part-time. So I've been in real estate full-time, full throttle, 2.5 years.
Man. So one of my favorite things to ask people, and especially because you're shifting careers, right?
Mhm.
And I love that we've had a lot of guests talk about like keeping one job and working part-time and what they're trying to transition into. But like, how were you able to like find your clientele? Like, what were you doing to generate leads? Like, were you door knocking, cold calling? Like, I love picking brains on that.
That's such a good question. Was I door knocking? No. So most of my business right now comes from referrals. The people that know me want to do business with me. Now I do want to touch the people that don't know me, so that's a goal for 2026. I just did most of my business with referrals, and because I'm starting off, I had a realistic approach. Like I wasn't trying to be unrealistic and say I'm going to come out of this career because everyone thinks I'm going to do real estate and make tons of money and I'm going to have freedom, and it was definitely a shocker on how different that looked. So let's say like I closed, I don't know, like 8 million my first year, and I'm just grateful for all of the little crumbs that I get. So if for the year, if it covered my nursing salary and more, I was good. I don't
Well,
know.
but you said referrals, and I think that this is something that, like, in sales, everyone's like, "Referrals," but people forget that, like, you have to ask for referrals. So you're probably, like, and sometimes that's uncomfortable to ask the people that you know for referrals. So were you just, like, telling everyone, like, "Hey, I'm doing real estate now," or
Correct, correct. I knew that I needed to, let's say, post on social media, talk about real estate where people would be like, "Philly, she's no longer a nurse." But it's a shocker because a lot of, just like you asked, a lot of people think that I'm still doing nursing part-time, but I couldn't do nursing part-time and expect to be taken serious as a full-on professional. It's a small, like Naples is small. It's a small big town, we can say, and we have like 2 hospitals. So it felt like I couldn't be posting like real estate, like full-time realtor. I can take my business serious when I'm in the emergency room taking patients. I mean, it's just I needed to make a decision to fully go into the path and fully focus on that. I don't know, did I answer your question, Steph?
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Well, yeah,
absolutely.
everyone knew I was doing nursing or doing real estate, and the people that were nurses that did business with me would tell other people, "Oh, you should call Philly." And so that's how that started. So it's mostly like my sphere that I did a lot of business with and referrals. Like my husband is a charter captain, and if someone came down to fish, which I got 2 deals, 3 deals from him actually, and he's like, "Hey, if you're thinking about are you, do you live here?" And if they don't, or we're thinking about moving here, he'll say, "Oh, my wife is a realtor." So 2 of my referrals came from him.
But that's the other thing with referrals though, like, you have to put it out there. He's putting it out there, you're putting it out there, like, and I just think that that is something that so often people just think someone will come and hand them a referral. No, like, you
But
have to be
yeah.
doing the work of shouting from the rooftops, "This is what I'm doing now."
Another part of the work is how I structure it. So my husband knows, do not give them my number. You have to take their number and give it to me because most likely they will forget or they won't follow up. So the rule is always, yeah, is it okay if I share your number with her? Because she's really busy. I don't want you to be frustrated if you can't reach her. So I need to get their number. And so that's been kind of like the protocol with referrals. If anyone's like, "Oh my gosh, Philly, someone's thinking about buying or thinking about buying in the community," I'm like, "Awesome. Can you just, I gave them your number. Yeah, that's cool. Is it okay if you ask them if it's okay for me to have their number? Because I don't want their number to show up as spam, which is true. And they miss me when they're trying to call me. So it's important that I'm able to reach them."
That's key.
Training, absolutely. Teaching people how to provide you with best refer you, I guess the best way to put it. Best refer
Yeah.
you. That's incredible. And the other thing in switching and going full time into the real estate, didn't you? I assume you felt an energy shift as soon as you did that. Do you think it changed the way you were received in the marketplace as far as that energy shift?
No, because I saw somewhere that most people will trust nurses. I saw this research before. So in the very beginning, I had a real estate coach that said that I couldn't mention to anyone that I was a nurse. And it felt so foreign to me because I had been a nurse since I was 21. So 20 years of nursing. And it really messed with my first year in real estate. I had a huge identity crisis. I didn't know who I was, if I belonged in this space. because no one knows me as a realtor. Everyone knows me as a nurse. And when I shifted and I started adding nurse in my bio, I was feeling comfortable with leaning into the strength as a nurse.
It's incredible. And that
So
is such a lesson to embrace who we are. I mean, instead of trying to hide who we are, embrace who we are.
Well, and that experience, like, makes you stand out too, like, that because not everyone's been a nurse and then transitioned to real estate.
yeah, it's really interesting because like now a lot of people are doing it.
Oh, they are.
Um, yeah, well, because it just looks so glamorous online. It looks so easy, and it's like, "Oh, you could do it, I could do it." What they don't understand is, like there's a I saw a post the other day where someone said, "No one can believe in God more than an entrepreneur. No one can go a whole month without a paycheck."
Right.
And and then have faith, know that it's coming. And those were the things that were uncomfortable. It was leaving that security. Like you're getting a paycheck every 2 weeks with nursing. When you come into this arena, you could go a month or two without getting paid. And you just have to have the faith and be okay with that. That's where, having coaching, learning how to build a pipeline. And that's when I said I'm grateful for what I was getting at the time. If as long as I was making enough, like more than my nursing career when I worked 72 hours a week to get that particular pay, I thought this is a win. So I'm going to keep going. And yeah,
Switching from being like working a job, so to speak, nursing and having the paycheck every 2 weeks to now being an entrepreneur and more on the self-employed type side of things. Has that changed the dynamics of the family at all?
it has. It has. There's a lot of conversations that go into all of this when you change careers because the security is no longer there and the kids. So yeah, it did change the dynamics, but we communicate a lot in my family. So everyone, like I have 3 kids, and so they're involved in knowing what mom does. And so just like there's like if anyone hears the word realtor or someone needing to buy or sell, they know to tell them, "Oh, my mom is a realtor. You should look her up." So I've had like my son's teachers come and reach out, but there's a shift. There's definitely a shift for the family. Like, they just have to kind of understand that the identity of a nurse is no longer there, and not like it really matters. Like I'm still actually I don't even know how to really answer that question because I can go into layers with that one because there's conversations all the time with my husband, understanding that we're running a he runs a business too. And it's different for entrepreneurs than it is for the everyday 9 to 5 or every 2 week paychecker. There's a percentage that goes into your business. So where everyone is like, oh, you made someone's salary in one sale. And what they don't know is all of the breakdowns of where that goes.
Well, especially they don't realize that there's the brokerage involved. There's your marketing that's involved. There's all of these costs that are tied in there. It's not like that lump sum just came to you. And a lot of times they don't
Right.
realize that. And it's the same way with all the entrepreneurs that are out there where they buy a business or they own a business and they're there at that business and everybody thinks that they're just rolling it in when when they're making all this money. They don't understand unless you're an entrepreneur, you don't understand all the overhead and everything else that goes into that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, everything, the stress, the doubts, the mindset shift, all the work that you have to do on your mindset. It's no joke.
Yeah. The mindset that you need to be an entrepreneur and the way you look at the world, I think it all shifts when you become an entrepreneur. All of a sudden, the way you look at the world is completely different. Do you agree with that?
100%. I mean, like the way you show up for yourself. I mean, you can just go into work. You can decide to have you can make the decision on whether you're going to have a great day or not, which or you could choose to kind of like be with the crowd and be miserable. So like when you're an entrepreneur, there's no room for the noise.
Oh, well stated. Well stated. No, that's exactly right. Plus, the other aspect of it, people say to me all the time, you're so fortunate that you can be in control of your schedule. And I go, yes. it is such a bummer that I'm in control of my, I mean, because if I decide I'm not going to work, I can decide not to work. It's not like all of a sudden I've got this. You understand what I'm saying? That's one of the biggest challenges we deal with is it's if everything's going great, it's largely because of things that we've done. If everything's not going so great, it's largely because of things we have or have not done. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, it's just a whole
Um,
different mind.
feel like I wanted to pick your brain because you talked about how you started posting on social media and different things. Was that something that was always comfortable for you, or was that hard to start getting online?
Man, it's a great question. I'm an elder millennial, so that means social media, like I'm like MySpace. I wasn't even posting on MySpace, okay? I I did not post on Facebook at all. It was so uncomfortable. And till this day, I'm like every day I'm getting comfortable with doing it because I think someone needs to hear what I have to say. It might help someone. That's sort of like how I'm kind of coming at it, but I was never comfortable with it. Very cringe. It just felt weird. It felt like I don't know, there's just different generations. Like nowadays, someone can pick up their phone and be like, "This is what I'm doing. Here's my food." That always felt really weird to me. So it was definitely a shift to do that. It was not comfortable, but little by little, I started doing it, and now I'm trying to post every day.
But so now you're posting every day. So like, because I think that that's a big thing for a lot of small business owners, entrepreneurs to show their face on camera, to show their expertise. And so like those early videos, were you just like, okay, I need to post them? Or did you procrastinate it? Like, how did it get you to be every day?
And it's my middle name, but I'm like I took it away. We X'd it out with a big X.
I love it.
Let's just say I wasn't doing video because it was very foreign to me. I was just like say making a static post. I did not become well versed in what and how social media and how it works became interesting to me because of this business. Otherwise, I wouldn't care to post. I think that I opened up an Instagram when my middle son was born and I just had a picture of us taking him from the hospital. Like that's what I thought social media was. So, in the very beginning, it was just static posts. And yes, if we like and then B-roll, like all of the things, it changes every year. And so my past videos, even like the way that they're edited, I wouldn't know what to do or how to do it. So there was definitely a learning curve, and there's still a learning curve. I'm just happy that I'm even posting.
Right? But I think though, because you had talked about it's like none of us want to feel like cringe or like people are like, oh, what are they doing? But what you said, maybe something that I'm saying can help someone. And as someone who the only reason I got my first place was because I had heard experts over and over because I was hosting a real estate podcast talk about how it's the best investment and hear their expertise. Like there are so many people who they don't know what you know in real estate and like your knowledge can help. And I think for those of you listening, whatever your industry is, maybe you're an accountant and you're like, people don't get like accounting. No, there's tips that you can give, you know? Yeah, even being a dentist, like whatever there like it is, like we all have expertise that someone needs to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
how I
that's
had to like change it too before to get comfortable. Even if they're like not liking or I don't have a lot of comments, I just know that if someone heard it, they can share it with someone else or like if even go look it up to confirm the information, then they're learning something.
well, and that's something. The way you've done that, and the way you've just walked through that is just powerful. Because what you've done is you've taken and you reframed the way you're looking at things so that you can go out there and post, meaning emotionally, that you can get past yourself and move yourself out of the way to go post, to be able to go and put yourself out there, to go out there and make a difference. And so, with that, I mean, if someone listening feels stuck, like maybe home ownership they're concerned about, or maybe a better life, maybe they're thinking that they should be in business for themselves, whatever. There's always something that people want to achieve, but they push it off. We push it off like next year. I'll do it next year. What's the one decision that you want them to make this week to start moving from fear to freedom?
Wow. What a question.
I was like, Todd, that's a loaded question right there. No pressure, Philly.
Okay. Man, that is so loaded.
Let me back up off of
No, no,
that.
I mean, I could
No, no,
answer it.
no,
Uh,
you're going to answer it. But I want you to think about it. There's a point that you had to make a decision. When you were working in nursing, you all of a sudden had to go, you know what, I'm going to go do this real estate thing. And put yourself back in that moment.
okay. Have any of you ever like experienced something where you had something inside of you and you kind of like knew you might have a little bit more? Have you ever had like right? You're like, I mean, it's not conceited, but like you always want more and you feel that inside of you, right? Like you could do more or you could do better.
Right.
So if someone is listening, that little feeling is your sign, right? And when you stop, the fear is saying, whoa, 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 like this is not what you want to do. This might be a little too much. That's fear. Wants to keep us comfortable. But I guess it's just the desire. So for me, I had that feeling for a long time. I mean, I paid for a real estate test in 2018. But what happened, and you don't have to edit this out, you can either keep it or whatever. What happened was I wanted more. So after 18 years, I said, okay, Philly, there's more you can do. Maybe you could be a leader. You could go into leadership because I love that. I love seeing people win. I'm always talking, trying to teach someone something. Talk to me and like you'll get a whole lesson. And after knowing that I wanted more, I was a nurse. I went seasonal. I was getting paid more. I met my ceiling. I didn't want to be a nurse practitioner. I didn't want to do anything else. I want to do leadership. Got into leadership, and then I realized that's not where I wanted to be. Within that time frame, my father got sick. Very healthy guy. He ended up getting lung cancer and dying. He never smoked. At that moment, so, and you probably, I didn't share this, but I'm from Haiti. So I'm from a third world country where I'm just really grateful to be here. He was not ready. No one is really ready to die, but he thought he needed to do more. He said, I haven't done enough. I haven't built what I needed for you guys for legacy because he wanted to build more. Within that time, I was like, okay, my dad's dying. He really wanted to do this. And I've always wanted to invest in real estate. So within that time, I also tried to buy real estate. This was in 2021. That deal went south because the property appraised for $40,000 more. I didn't want to pay more, but I also was not educated by the realtor. All of those things happening, my dad dying, my dad getting sick, not having the time, me trying to act like, oh my gosh, I got to do something. I wanted to do invest too. So I'm going to get into real estate. That whole realization was we don't have the time. Like if you're scared, just think about, are you willing to be scared and miserable? Or are you willing to just take action and go through the uncomfortable route? I took the uncomfortable route. I just took a chance. I didn't know whether it was going to work, but I knew that my time is not promised. I mean, something could happen today, and I would have not ever lived up to all that I wanted to do or that gut feeling that was saying, You got more. Go do something." I didn't know what I was gonna be doing. I actually don't even know how real estate I wanted to help, I wanted to be in people's lives, and I wanted to see them win, and that real estate deal for me, I thought I was gonna get my license just to buy my own deals. And when I shared that I was a realtor with my friends, two of them wanted me to help them buy a home. And then I fell in love with the process. So all of it kind of like came together. Sorry, it's a little bit deep.
That's powerful though, Philly. It's powerful of a reminder that like we don't have all the time in the world to do things. And so thank you for sharing that. Like, and that's what I love is hearing like more the actual reason behind things. So thank you.
Really leads into what Idiot to Genius is all about. Idiot to Genius. It's when the individual right to fail unleashes the unlimited potential to succeed. In summary, it's called freedom.